All right. Hello. Welcome to week 2 of the Twin Towers podcast. I'm joined by my co-host and beer, wine, and cider aficionado, Mikey Blaze.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back.
Thanks for joining us last week, all 66 of you, unless somebody watched it twice.
That's pretty good.
Well, to keep it real, that was technically the lowest performing version of the Twin Snakes pod of all time.
Oh, boy.
But with that being said, it came up out of nowhere, to use the quote.
Yeah.
And I think one of the caveats of what we said we were going to do is that we weren't going to give a fuck about that, right? So
yeah, who cares?
It's better than 5, it's better than 10, better than 20, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, anyone who took the time, obviously, is shout-outs. And, you know, I think the key is establishing some consistency across the board, this is looking good right now. We're rocking it out again for the second week in a row. And I thought it went well. I mean, the biggest issue was the obvious, that the camera fucking turned off in the middle of it. So
yeah, but the slideshow was great. Well put together.
The slideshow was nice, a nice little added effect. So I probably will be bouncing around a little bit just to make sure that that doesn't happen again, so that we have the full video feed. But with that being said, I mean, what's going on with you? Anything exciting?
Not really. Nothing to report.
We worked together last week, which was fun. I don't know. We've never worked together before. I never worked at Frankie's.
You worked at Willowbrook.
That's true. We did work together at Willowbrook.
I remember you said, like, I feel bad even taking a paycheck because it was so, like, there was nothing.
Yeah, it was pretty dead there. The weirdest part about that job was, like, sometimes you'd be on, like, 10 to 10. So it'd just be an entire fucking day long of being there. And there wasn't always a shitload to do. The best part about that job was, like, taking the golf cart out and going for a spin, because you could get away from the action, like all the people in the kitchen and everything that was going on at home base. You could go out on the golf court and, like, go take boxes to the dumpster and you know, do what you needed to do. So good first job for a 14-year-old. Fun experience, little kitchen experience, little dishwashing experience, so on and so forth.
And you did amazing at
thank you kindly
for a first day.
What I wanted to try to do was not make it seamless, but I wanted to jump in and actually be helpful, because a lot of times when someone's starting out at first, they're actually like a burden, right? Because you have to fucking hold their hand and train them and show them everything. So
I
it's
didn't
like,
have to show you shit. Like, you literally just knew
which
what
is
to do.
what I wanted to do. I wanted to try and make it so that I was actually a plus to the crew and not a minus. And I think it went really well. It was fun kind of seeing you in that environment. Obviously, Eric was there too, working the wedding. So it had this, like, almost Willowbrook type vibe to it on some level. And yeah, it was really cool. I'm excited to do that again. So that was super cool. If you want to catch the Twin Towers live, you can come to Becker Farms this Friday night. The Grateful Dead is not playing, but the Grateful Dead cover band is playing. So by all means, come out.
Fan of the band.
Grab a Murdoch IPA and let it ride. We'll be there serving them up. Yeah, man. So.
Oh, yeah, get to the story.
There's a lot to talk about today. We got the Stanley Cup. We got other things on the agenda. But there's an ominous, floating, ghastly vibe in the room right now, because when Mike got here, I was going to say nothing and just drop it on him during the app, but I couldn't hold back. I had to say something. So I said, just wait. That's all I could tell him, was just wait. And obviously he wants to fucking know what's going on. So let's just get into it. If you look around here, you know, this place is...
No, you're not moving out.
Pretty special to me. There's a lot going on here.
You're moving out?
So today, just for a little background, I've been here 9 years. My mom has rented the lower apartment 8 years. This has been the home for many trials and tribulations. Anyone who's been watching my videos on my channel will know how tumultuous and crazy this year's been. I'm just now getting back on my feet and starting to re-enter society and be proactive, and things are going really well. I mean, everything is going so good. Today, I got a in-person visit from my landlord.
Oh, God, dude. I almost assumed that what I will cry.
I got an in-person visit from my landlord, and what I was told is that the Spruce St Era of codeezie is coming to a rapid end.
That's really sad.
In that meaning that this building is being sold to their son, who lives across the street.
Beausoleil?
Yep. Him and his girlfriend are taking over the building, and myself and my mom are to empty this place out in full by August 1st.
What? Like... What?
Yes, that's the story. That's what happened.
Pack your shit.
Pretty much. So the surroundings that you see, the environment that we taped all the Twin Snakes pods, the environment that we've taped all our classic videos, where all the different things have happened over the years. We are entering the final month, and I am looking for a new place to live.
It's gonna be hard.
It's gonna be really hard. It's going to be fucking damn near impossible
until you find a spot.
You're not the first person who said that. And I want to say thank you first and foremost. And I also want to say that luckily I have amazing friends and family who I know would do anything for me in any type of situation. And so I'm not that worried about it.
What if you just went homeless? Like, that would be, like, fun. Like, you just did it as a bit.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about it that worries me is just the accumulation of stuff.
There's a lot of shit.
Yes. And it's not only what you see, it's also what you don't see, in addition to the entire basement is full with my drums and
your closet.
My closet, bathroom. Both closets. I mean, it's crazy. So this has been home for almost a decade, and there's a lot of drama involved with this because we rent from 30-year-long family friends. And they always say, you know, don't rent to friends and stuff like that. And stuff's going to unfold in a weird way because this has been something that's been bubbling for a little while. And my biggest qualm, to be honest, and this is where I am honest, not that this is something public to air out or anything like that. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but my whole thing was, you know, it's your building. I've been here a long time, and I can't tell you what to do. If you guys are selling the building, you're giving it to your son, whatever you want to do, that's your fucking business. It's not my business. My thing was, I would have preferred, if I was to have had it done over the way I wanted, was to just obviously have more notice and to be able to prepare for that.
August 1st?
Yeah, which is a month. Which is,
you've been here 9 years, they want to give you a month?
Yeah.
That's bullshit. But it's like you're an employee.
Yeah.
And they can just lay you off for no reason.
Right, but if if you quit, you got to give them 2 weeks. But if you get fired, you get fired the day
I
up.
always just straight up quit. I got a funny story about that coming up
later. All right, awesome. So we won't forget to go to that. But just to, I don't want to talk about this too much publicly. I just wanted to let you know that for the first time. And also, it's going to be a bittersweet thing because, in a lot of ways, it's been a long time coming. I mean, I've been here probably a little too long. I mean, there's a lot of, as much good memories as there are here, there's a lot of bad shit here that's happened here too. So I don't think it's the worst thing to find a new place to live. Like I'm not worried about the actual, what's actually happening. I guess the stressors are just the timetable. And then also, with my financial situation, it's not going to be the easiest thing to pull off. I'm pretty positive that I'll be able to pool whatever resources necessary from my vast network of family and friends to get me by. But I mean, this could have happened at a worse time if it was like 3 months ago. But this is a pretty bad time to happen. I guess the only good thing is that I am doing really good. I'm getting back to work. I got shit in the works. I'm doing much better than I was like 3 months ago. Like if this happened like 3 months ago, then I probably maybe could have ended up homeless. And I don't think that's a possibility at this point. I think that the stars will align on some level. But yeah, that's the big breaking news for today because I just got dropped that bombshell on me.
It was a meeting in person?
It was. And
so how did you react? Were you like...
I was straightforward. and I won't get into all the details of the drama. I will do
Were
that
you
with
mad?
I'll do that with you after we're done.
Okay.
But for the podcast, I was very stoic and accepting.
I can tell that you're like fuming.
Yeah, I mean, I have my emotions about it. I'm not a super reactive guy in that way. Like, I'm pretty good at keeping my cool. So I kept a level head. I expressed myself fairly. I heard out what they had to say, and I definitely let them know how I felt about it. The biggest thing is, this doesn't just affect me. As I mentioned, my mom rents out the downstairs and has for some time, and she's also to vacate. So she is not necessarily handling this news the same way I am, with grace and logic. She is rather irate, and this is going to be a big thing. This is going to turn into a big thing. But with all that being said, obviously it's a storyline to track and follow for the podcast, because 4 weeks from now or whatever it is, we'll be taping in a new environment. But something to keep an eye on. And, I already know I got a whole staff of guys that are ready to help me move. And
the old go-to.
of course. And I don't even need to ask. You guys know who you are. Be ready. Get your weight belts and your gloves and all that shit ready to rock. Beers are on me. Pizza and wings on. I was going to say Caesar, but he can't even do that anymore.
What? He can't do what?
He's not at Frankie's. So usually he would be the hookup.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do we? You want to help us out? I mean, fuck.
Yeah, all our 66 listeners from last podcast.
Somebody step up.
There's a
Molinaro's on the go will cater a moving party. But
That's
yeah,
you, Ange.
that's right. So yeah, a tumultuous time is ahead. July is going to be nuts.
It's kind of fun, though. I think I would take that approach to it.
I'm looking at it as an exciting new chapter because, even, we talked about this last week with the sports team fandom and things like that. It's like I have really outgrown this place on a lot of levels. If I was to do it all over again today, I would not decorate it the same way.
I love it.
It's great. It's a great place. I'm going to make sure I get photos of every inch of it so that I can remember exactly what it's like. I'm a little concerned for Clarabelle in the sense that cats don't like to fucking move. I mean, they like their spots. You know what I mean? She's been here the longest, so she's gonna be fucking upset. And obviously, that's a consideration for me finding a new place. But I mean, yeah, I'm not sweating it too bad. I took the news pretty well considering. But yeah, that's the big fucking story of the day. And that's that. I don't want to speak on it too much. I don't want to give away.
Well, you're kind of hard to rile up.
For sure.
But
sure.
I could tell when I got here.
That's bad news to get, right? Because I'm on a hot streak right now in the sense that everything seems to be going my way.
Lined up, right?
And everything's going good.
Ducks are in a row.
Yep. I'm back working on my music. I got fucking shit in the works. I got fucking, I'm cooking up multiple dishes in the kitchen. I got a little job action over here, a little job action over here. I'm really, we reunited. Me and Eric reunited. Me and Shufelt reunited. Everything feels great.
What's going on?
I don't know, but everything feels great right now. It feels like a just good time. You know what I mean? It just feels like everything's clicking on all cylinders. Like I got my confidence back. I'm fucking feeling good. I'm fucking reaching out to everybody. It's like, having good friends around is so fucking important, man. And like, it really does mean so much, and it's a shame that goes away. It's not anybody's fault at all, but it's unfortunate.
It's weird. Like 4 years could go by,
and you don't realize it. You know what I mean? Because everybody's just kind of doing their own thing and got different shit going on. But it feels so good, especially with the vibe of summer going on. Like to be reconnected and just have all this.
Just know you have that web of people that are still there.
Absolutely. So I'm not too worried about it. There's a few things that I'm gonna have to get a few lucky breaks, but I think that everything will be cool.
Everything always works out.
Absolutely. So that's the big bombshell news drop of the day.
That was shocking.
Definitely.
And it's funny because I was talking to you last week about how long you've been at this place.
I know.
I can like almost a decade.
Yep. I can remember actually the first weekend I moved in. You, Bill, and Caesar came here. My TV's been in the same spot. I've never rearranged this room.
Nothing's moved.
Yep, nothing's moved at all. I've never rearranged. And I remember we watched like Playmakers. We hung out. It was like the most exhilarating feeling. I was like 24 years old.
Your own spot.
And it's like, oh, this is so awesome. And the reason I got my spot, to be completely frank, I might as well tell this because we're talking about the subject. But when I was 24, and I lived, so there was a transitional period at Livingston where my mom was the head of the house for a little while. And then she moved into Jimmy's house, her boyfriend, and my dad took over. And when my dad took over, things changed. Because my dad and my mom are not the same. That's why I always chose to live with my mom, because with my mom I could do whatever the fuck I wanted.
Exactly
right.
The same
so
here.
When my dad took over the house, a lot of things changed. Some for the better, some for the worse. Yep. So things like having girls over was suddenly, that wasn't cool. I remember my dad's quote at the time, because I did it a couple times, and I remember him saying something along the lines, I'm sorry, Craig Money, but I got to just tell this how it went down, was, this isn't a flop house, was I think his quote.
Oh, dude, my dad said that shit too. Seriously. My dad used that line too. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Right. And I was so confused at the time because, like, I'm 24 years old. I'm trying to get laid. And I'm thinking, like, if anyone should understand this, it would be my dad, right?
He's a dude. He's
not
been
my
there.
mom, right? Like, my dad should get this, but I get it now. It makes sense now, and a lot of the stability and structure that he brought to the table would have benefited me in other ways, but at the time, I had just met someone at Pharaoh's who was a model in New York City for a period of time. Then she moved back here to work at Pharaoh's, which is where I met her, and used the classic line that you're not supposed to use, which is you're way too you're way too beautiful to be working here.
It worked though.
It worked like a charm, which is crazy because you'd think they'd be tuned into something like that. But at that time I was pretty desperate to see where that would lead. And so basically, long story short, we got in touch with some family friends, and they happened to have a place available, which is what led me here. So me and Clarabelle have been here since December of 2015, going on 9 years now, and it's the end of an era. And there's been a lot of shit that's gone down here, but it's just one of those things.
We got to have everyone, all the originals that have been here throughout, come and...
That would be amazing. I would love that. I would love nothing more.
Who are the original? I mean, me, obviously.
Well, yes,
Caesar.
Bill, Caesar, Sheezy would obviously be involved. And just spent a great deal
Even
of time
Jump,
here.
maybe?
Jump spent a great deal of time here playing FIFA. That's like 2017 era.
Who was that one kid who like did the Gatorade? Shit, Zach. Yeah,
Zach P lived downstairs for a week. That was a big ordeal.
Gallardi's got to be.
Gallardi spent time. There's been, just countless.
Even B Sprung.
B Sprung's been in the work. There's been so many just in and out, and it'll be sad on some level, but I think that it's probably run its course, and it's probably for the best.
Yeah,
it seems like a new chapter. It seems like a new regime, like a new mood has entered the fold, and it's just time to just do what we got to do. I just, I hope to God and pray to God that I can make things work out in a good way. And I'm taking these off. I don't like seeing red everywhere.
It's gonna be fine, man.
Yeah, everything should be good.
Everything will be fine.
So
we could get this whole place cleared out in like a couple hours.
Yeah, it's really not that crazy. It just looks like a lot because there's so much on the walls. Yeah. I think it's a good opportunity to like sell a lot of shit or get rid of a lot of shit. Like it'll be a good time to like clean out. You know
how on like Hoarders, like they'll be like, let's throw this out, and like someone will be like, no, that's important to me, but it's like a ribbon.
Yeah, that's how I'll be because I save a lot of shit.
I mean, how are you going to get rid of any of this?
True.
I would save it all.
Yeah, a lot of it will definitely get saved.
I'm not saying you're a hoarder, by the way. I'm just saying it's tough to get rid of.
There's a little bit of a hoarder
shit.
vibe. Yeah, no, for sure. But again, that just happened today, so that's why it's pertinent. That's why it's news. That's why it's on my mind. So I'm trying to wrap my head around the idea of that. I wasn't ready for that on any level, but hey, that's how it goes.
What time was it, by the way?
It was about 2:00. So reached out to my mom and said that she wanted to talk to both of us. So we had a feeling that something bad was coming, but we didn't really know what. We were thinking like maybe a rent raise, maybe
rent raise at the worst.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, which, would have sucked, but whatever. I wouldn't have, it wouldn't have caused me to move by any means. And so, the funniest part, and I really don't want to shed a lot of light on this or spread too many details, but the funniest part was, if you go through here, it's got a kind of a 1970s vibe to it. It's very, you got the radiators and a lot of old shit. There could be, my favorite part is in the kitchen, those dots that are painted on you've seen the dots.
Yeah.
You got to see it to believe it. But apparently now it's time to gut and renovate this whole upstairs and make it modern and make it, litty, which,
to raise rent.
Yeah.
To, draw. Well, there's no shortage of people looking to rent places.
For sure.
Like my rent is ridiculous.
It's crazy right now. Couldn't be a worse time, really.
Yeah.
So
I'd say save up all your bread.
Yeah.
And buy a property yourself.
I know, that would be amazing.
And we could do I'll go in with you.
That would be amazing. I would love to do that.
Well, let's keep our eyes open.
If only, yeah. So it's something to think about for the future, but don't want this whole thing to be a drag. So
yeah, I know. It's kind of downer right now.
For the next 4 weeks or so, we should be taping in our usual spot here with the Patrice Shrine and the Stone Cold Shrine, and everything will be as normal. From there, we will adapt and overcome because that's what we do. Check that camera while you're at it. Yeah. How we doing?
Yeah, looks good.
Looks good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, with that being said, with that bombshell being dropped and moving on to some current events, last night, if you happen to tune in, was a rather entertaining and exciting Game 7 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. I don't know how many hockey watchers we have joining us, but shit, I think it's something worth talking about because that was a hell of a fucking game. And I feel sorrow and disappointment for McDavid, most importantly, and then the Tits girl as well, because I know she's going through it.
The Tits girl is like...
She's a fucking legend out here right now. And it's crazy that you can just...
She's going to be a millionaire now.
Imagine being a girl and knowing that that's all you have to do to just raise your profile.
Yeah, she just opened up the front porch, as they call it.
Right. She just flashed the headlights, and now she's a viral, worldwide phenomenon.
Playboy already. Did you see that?
Did she really?
Yeah.
I didn't take a look at it. I'll be taking a peek at that for sure.
That's insane.
But I think, the series itself was pretty fucking entertaining. You got Florida going up 3-0 on them, and then you got Edmonton coming back, tying it at 3-3, forcing a Game 7, and I think that's the most disappointing thing for Edmonton fans. It's like, in my opinion, if you look at it with this, if it's the Sabres, it's like you almost would rather get swept.
Yeah, I would rather get swept. Well, I don't know, because then you have those memories.
You do it. It is a fun journey. I think in the moment, though, you're thinking like, man, like it felt like it was destiny. It felt like we had it locked. And then, like, you get so close to something and then have it ripped away from you. It's just like, fuck.
I feel like Buffalo fans would be like, that's Buffalo.
For sure. They definitely would.
I haven't heard that. I call Edmonton.
Yeah, they have cups to spare. They had the Gretzky days.
They had Gretzky and they have McDavid.
Exactly.
You can't be too mad.
I would have been happy to have seen a Canadian team win it finally. I think it would have been the first time since 93.
Did you see the last 5, I think it's 4 or 5, Cup finalists in the Eastern Conference are all Florida teams?
Yeah, the Cup's been pretty much living in the Florida Heat for the last...
Do you think the taxes have something to do with that?
That could be a factor. You got to think these players, no state tax. I mean, that's a big factor if you're going to re-sign somewhere. And it's pretty weird because there's always that like joke and running gag about like the Florida teams. Like it's like, oh yeah, they don't like why would they even have hockey in Florida? You know what I mean? Like it's a weird thing because it's like ice.
I only say that when I'm mad that they're good.
Yeah, and they're good. Both teams are good. You have the Lightning who won. They won 2, right? 2020 and 2021. They went back to back.
COVID win.
Yep. And then Florida was in the finals last year and then won it this year. So yeah, I mean a lot of Florida action. I mean it's just a weird thing because even last year, like with Vegas winning, that's such a new team and that's such a weird environment. It's like it doesn't really fit. It would have been cool to see one of these classic Canadian city teams win it, bring it back to Canada. You got McDavid, he's the best player in the league. I feel like that's good for the NHL if he wins the cup.
Yeah, you want your best player to have a championship.
Definitely. That's a good thing overall. And they gave him the Conn Smythe, which
he didn't show up for.
And I think that trophy...
Would you have done that?
It's tough to say. I mean, I see a lot of people calling him a shithead for not showing up, but at the same time, like, if he showed up and was happy, then all the other people would have been like, oh, he doesn't even care that he lost the cup. So it's like, you can't win in that situation.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, do you want to steal the Panthers' shine?
True.
Yeah.
Plus, that trophy...
I'd kick it on the ice.
I would burn it. I mean, that trophy's just going to remind him of coming back from 0-3 and almost doing it and falling short, and that's going to be a reminder of
still never look bad.
Yeah, I mean it's you assume especially in hockey that he's going to win one eventually, right?
Yeah, it's inevitable.
You think so? It makes sense. It's logically it checks out, mathematically it checks out.
Got one, Reinhardt got one.
Right. A lot of former Sabres. There was a lot of graphics.
Rodriguez, like Pozo.
There was a lot of graphics flying around this morning on the Twitterverse of the former Sabres who have won.
Dude, if you put that Florida team in Buffalo and just switched rosters, like that Florida team in Buffalo would have finished last.
Absolutely. It's just crazy how something about the Sabres, and, you know, hopefully we can all pray and hope that, you know, Lindy Ruff can bring them back to the glory days. I know I got my hope held out, but it's crazy watching all these good players and then they always get shipped off exactly where they need to go to win the fucking cup.
Yeah, it's like they're doing them oh, sorry, it didn't work out here. I'll send you to the cup favorite.
Exactly. It's like Sabres job placement. It's like they're, like we were talking about a little earlier with like recruiting and shit. It's like they're looking out. It's like, oh, Okposo, you're pretty old. You're going to retire soon. Well, Florida's probably going to win it this year. So let's get you down there. Let's get you a cup.
I want to work for them, man.
Absolutely, man.
Send me to where I'm going to win.
It's fucking nuts watching that. It's like, you know, even you made the joke earlier about like, you know, Tage Thompson's going to win it with fucking Utah. Yeah. And then my response was, you know, yeah, just Josh Allen, he'll get the Super Bowl, but it's going to be with fucking Minnesota or Tennessee or whatever the fuck. So hopefully fucking that won't happen. But when you look at the track record, it's like, I mean, fuck, dude. I mean, I think it's 12 years now of no playoff berths. That's a 13. Long time in hockey. That's a long time in hockey.
And half the league makes the playoffs.
Exactly.
Each year, so that's incredible.
I think the Bills' drought was 17. That's when 6 teams from each conference made it.
Yeah, I think a little more understandable.
For sure. And the Bucks, I think, had a 14-year before Brady came to Tampa. So, I mean, it happens. But in hockey, with half the league making it, it's pretty crazy.
Back into the playoffs.
Exactly. And they almost made it, not this season, but the season before.
Yeah, 91 points.
Right.
1 point behind the Panthers.
Exactly. And then this season they like kind of regressed a little bit, but they got a good goalie now.
Yeah, they scored 2 years ago, but they had shitty goaltending. And
right.
This year they couldn't score and they had good goaltending.
It's crazy because like something simple and stupid like just using the Sabres in NHL, the game, they have a great roster. They have great players. They have, you know, the lines are good. They're rated pretty high, and they'd be a cool team to play with. But it just makes you wonder, like, organizationally and what the fuck is going on that they just can't get it together. And I guess getting a new coach, not a new coach, but an old coach that has had a proven track record of success with the team, hope's got to be high right now. And I know that that's the saying every year. There's always next year. But
they need the strict dad.
Yeah, they got to have somebody who... I mean, these guys that have been coaching, I don't know that much about them, but they seemed like kind of random guys.
Pushovers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
no one really got fired up. I like my coach, like Lindy Ruff. I like him to be mad.
It's good because it's a level of passion that
like a dad.
You want him to be pissed off if shit goes wrong because then you know he's going to try and fix it.
Yeah.
So best wishes to them. Congratulations to the Edmonton Oilers. And right now we're in the dog days of summer, which is no basketball, no hockey. We got only baseball.
Oh, the worst.
The absolute worst. And we're looking forward to the NFL season. So we're going to try and survive that.
Did you ever get into baseball?
The only time in my life that I've ever watched baseball consistently was COVID when the Rays were really good and in the World Series. I started watching it, and I like convinced myself that it was fun to watch. And there was one really good, exciting game. It was like Game 5 of the World Series, and there was like a walk-off home run, and Tampa Bay won. And this was when Brady had just gone to the Bucks. Lightning had just won the Cup. The Bucks were looking at a potential Super Bowl, which they did end up winning, and then the Rays were also in the World Series. So it was like this Tampa revival of sorts. Not even revival, but this Tampa fucking renaissance thing that was going on. And so I took a peek, and I watched more baseball in that year than I probably have watched in my entire life. And it's definitely boring, but it has this weird kind of vibe to it where you can have it on, and it's like you don't have to be fully checked in. You can kind of like do other shit, and then it can get exciting at points.
The playoffs are pretty exciting.
They can get good. There was definitely some tense moments and some exciting shit going on.
The 03-04 Yankees Red Sox. That's out. So that's in line with Panthers Oilers.
Definitely, because that was
the 3-0.
The 3-0, which
and
is legendary.
Went into the ninth inning with a 1-run lead.
No shit.
Brought out Mariano Rivera.
That was in Game 7.
No, Game 4.
Game 4. Okay. Oh, okay.
And
that's when they started the comeback.
Yeah, insane. I remember being on AOL in America Wilson. You remember her?
I do. Craziest name. Her name was America.
I think it was just America.
I think it was America.
With an A?
I think so. She went to my elementary school, and Ryan Shanley dated her for a period of time, so I know a little bit about her. But I think everyone called her America.
I don't know if she was a Yankees
but her
or
birth
a Red
name
Sox
was America.
fan, but we were like arguing on like
no shit
Messenger about the series, and I got invested because of her.
That's good.
Like
a personal rivalry.
Wrong. Yeah.
Were you Boston or New York?
I was New York.
Oh,
so
fuck.
she must have been Boston.
Must have.
Yeah, and it was humiliating. I was like, oh, go Yankees! We're sweeping your ass.
That's great too, because that's such a personal rivalry. This is unprofessional, but I really have to pee really bad, so you're gonna have to carry for a second. Yeah, just carry. I'm gonna check the camera too.
Yeah, check it. Let me know if it's going good.
You carry for right now.
I will carry. Let me do a
we're good.
little fireball here. I'll tell you a funny story, guys.
Yeah, tell a story.
Woo! Little shot of fireball, a little bit blue. Let's go. Anyway, so a few years ago, I quit my job that I had for about 6 years. And I didn't quit it properly. I just cut off all communication and screwed everybody over. But I didn't feel like I was screwing anyone over because it's a multi-billion-dollar business. So I haven't seen anybody since I quit, and it's been 2 years.
You talking about West Her?
Yeah. And the other day I'm at work. What do you know? My old manager walks in. And he's one of the guys I kind of screwed over. And he just shows up. And he's like, what's
Have you
up?
seen him since?
No, I haven't seen anybody. I don't even know like where these people go. There's so many employees. But I haven't ran into one. And he came in, he goes, well, he retired after I left. He goes, you made the right decision.
Wow.
And it like healed my heart.
You never hear that.
Yeah.
That's awesome,
like,
dude.
I'm glad you got out of there. It was pretty fun.
That's pretty fucking cool, man. Like that's you.
Because I was always nervous about running into somebody.
You feel like they would like give you a shitty attitude,
Yeah, like,
fuck
what
with
the
you a
hell,
little
man?
bit. Yeah, like oh, dude, you're missing out. Like we're fucking growing. We're fucking business is booming, AB style. And
that's how I could. He's been down to earth since I met him. So
that's a great fucking nice, rewarding little chapter end there. I think.
Oh yeah, when he walked in, I was like, oh boy, here we go. I'm gonna have to like talk about my old job.
Maybe
like,
explain yourself on some
I have
level.
to explain myself.
Yeah, you never want to
I had
do
everything
that.
in the back of my head. I'm like, oh, I had a mental breakdown. I didn't like it. You know, all the excuses.
For sure.
Which were all kind of true.
All valid, but hard to explain on some level.
Don't want to give those excuses because it makes. I'd rather just be like, yeah, I left.
I fucking bailed, dude.
Yeah.
I tapped.
Yeah.
I went nuts.
It like healed me.
I can imagine that would happen. I mean, that's a great, again, rare story that you don't hear too often of having that encounter and then also getting the validation that you did the right thing.
Yeah.
What a great feeling.
He was probably mad at me in the moment.
I'm sure. Time heals
they were
all
like
wounds.
calling my dad and stuff.
Were they really?
Yeah, because my dad runs Niagara County Transportation, so they knew him well.
So did you go like MIA for a little bit?
I straight went MIA. I did not. I cut off my phone. I didn't. I pulled into the parking lot and I called Ashley, and I said I don't want to go in, and she was like, "Come home." I'm like, "Okay," and I just came home and I never went in there again.
Well, shout outs to her for being so supportive and nurturing in that moment. What were you thinking at that time period? Because here you are, you're at a job, your future. Now, let me ask you this. Was she pregnant at this time, or had you already?
No, we already had, yeah.
So you had already had a kid. You have that to think about and provide for. What was your mindset in the midst of that? Because I've been in that situation, but not with so much on the line where it's affecting other human beings. Yeah. What were you thinking? What was your route of how you can get out of this, or what was your rationale for, I can make this work, or whatever the case may be?
I didn't care in that moment. I was struggling really bad at that point mentally. So basically every time I went to work, I'd have an anxiety attack.
That's insane.
A panic attack, basically. Like I thought I would be dying, so I'd go in the back, and I'd act like I was doing shit, but really, I was really like
trying to calm down.
I was trying to make sure I didn't die,
man.
And because I was getting no sleep, I just had a baby, and then I'd feel guilty because I'm not home raising the baby, and then I'd get resentful because I'm like, why am I not home with a kid?
With your kid?
Yeah.
Your kid.
So it all just built up. And then after I quit, every morning I was like having really bad panic attacks.
Probably from the residual, like, what have I done?
Yeah, like the shrapnel.
What's my future now? Like,
But it's never that big of a deal. I felt very guilty for not being there for my daughter,
Well, I think that's a good reason, if any.
You didn't make shit there anyways. I made a decent salary, but I worked over my salary, so
yeah, you put in a lot of time there. I remember even going back a ways before that happened. I remember you were working like 6 days a week.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Grinding, dude. Always in the Mullane's gear.
I make that at 3 days where I work now.
You were always Mullaned up with the Mullane's gear.
I never.
I feel like you wore that shit 24/7.
I don't know if I even changed for 4 years.
You pretty much slept in that shit because you had to. You were right back at it again the following morning.
In the morning. It's like wake up at 7 or 6.
I could tell you were in peril a little bit, and this was obviously a little bit before that happened, but I could definitely sense that you were looking for a way out, looking for some sort of option. You have to look back on it now and think that how much better things are now, and how much
it's so much.
You know what I mean?
So much more happier.
And that's a good perspective to keep in mind. Like, even if you're at work where you work now and you're having maybe a rough night or things aren't going your way, you're covered in fucking mulch and garbage or whatever the fuck.
The other day.
Yeah, and then you can think about, like, well, there was a time when this was like the greatest thing ever, because compared to what I was doing before, this is 100 times better position to be in. So luckily everything seems to have worked out on some level.
I got mechanics are kind of bratty.
Are they really?
Yeah, like brats. Like they come in like what do they call Drake? Zesty.
Yeah, zesty. That's like almost kind of slightly gay.
Parts? And you're like, oh, they're not here, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, like it's like really bratty, and that would really get me mad.
That's nuts, because you think of a mechanic guy like when I think of
like a tough dude,
alpha, right?
Yeah, but none of them were. Zero.
That's crazy, because what I think of when I think of a mechanic, I think of David Putty from Seinfeld, just like caveman style, machismo, alpha male. Kind of dumb as rocks, but fixes cars, knows his shit about cars, and to be zesty is that's like out of left field.
To be like bratty about shit.
That would definitely catch me off guard.
And I caught this one kid when he didn't think I was around. He was like talking crap about me.
Oh,
yeah, but I got defended because the kid's a fucking idiot.
What was he saying?
He was like, "Well, Mike doesn't do anything here." Meanwhile, I have the most.
You heard that?
I heard it. Yeah,
oh,
I have the most sales for the last 4 years. So my manager, who is a great manager, by the way, his name is Ryan, he's like, you don't watch him work. I do. And then he was like, you don't get mad at him because your part's not here. That's not on him. And I walked in and I was like, what's going on?
Oh, man, the confrontation.
And then the kid, he's fucking Oh, he's a disgusting.
He flaked out.
He totally.
He folded.
He was like, oh yeah.
I'm trying to think of a time when I got busted talking trash. Or
Dude, I've been caught too.
Okay, so one time, this was probably like 2013, around the time when there was like a gym era where it was like me, Caesar, Andy, and Craig Money. I remember the day. It was when I just moved home from Florida. We were all at my house drinking Red Dogs. I probably weighed about 150 fucking pounds, and I had never lifted a weight in my life. And I remember we were talking. This is when I was still thinking like I was going to be a wrestler. So like I remember we were all talking about it, and we were just like, dude, let's just sign up at Ultimate next Monday. And I texted my dad, told him what we wanted to do. And my dad, out of the kindness of his heart, like decided to take all of us 3 fucking idiots under his wing and start going to the gym with us every day, right? So this is like 8 months later. And me and my dad have this really funny kind of like headbutting relationship because we're a lot alike, but we couldn't be more different. So like a lot of times we'll just disagree on shit. We're both always late all the time too. So this one day, me and Caesar were going on Friday. We were going to do legs, I think. And something about my dad like texted me and said like, I'll be there at, like we were going at 6 and he said like, I'll be there at 6:30 or something. And we got into like this small fight and fucking me and Caesar are standing there on the leg press and Caesar's working out, and I remember that I was just looking at Caesar, and I was like, I'm just so fucking sick of his bullshit. He's always fucking late. He does this and that, and then if I'm late, he gives me all this shit. He treats me like shit if I'm late, but then he's fucking late every time. I turn around to the shake bar, and I just see my dad giving me the finger. And I just, dude, my heart sank into my fucking balls.
So he had a preemptive finger up?
Dude, he must have been there for like a minute, just hearing me fucking go off about how he's always late and he doesn't respect me. He doesn't treat me with respect. And yeah, he gave me and he was pissed. Like I can tell when my dad's pissed, and he was fucking pissed. And it was so fucking awkward because we were supposed to all work out together, but then like he started doing his workout and then like we were doing our workout, and then so it was like this weird. I remember finally going up to him and I was like, I'm really sorry, like whatever, you busted me, because I don't, I mean, if I'm
Best
caught,
thing to do.
I'm just fucking, I'm caught. Like you caught me. I mean, what are you gonna do? We all talk shit. We all fucking
right.
It happens. You know what I'm saying?
I just don't want to hear it.
You don't want to hear it,
That's
and you
it.
do not want someone to hear it because it's so embarrassing. Like it was just so demoralizing, and yeah, that was the last time I felt that feeling until recently. And I talked about this on the last episode too, but when I had the little OnlyFans snafu with this girl I've been texting, that was the first time I had anything close to that feeling since. But when you're caught in that moment and you can't really do anything about it, you really have no choice but to come clean. I mean, you can try and weasel your way out and lie. I mean, what was I going to say? I was talking about somebody else.
Yeah, that's the only go-to.
It was pretty much clear as fucking day. And the thing about my dad that's nuts is, you know, there's this physical fear that I have of him that's very valid, because if he wanted to fucking throw me into the ceiling fan per se, he could. Even at fucking almost 60 years old, still wouldn't want to fight him, still wouldn't want to take him. So, you know, but I push those buttons and I push that boundary as far as I can. But if he ever snaps on me to that level, I buckle immediately, because I don't want that problem. I mean, even in his older age, he could fuck me up, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah, but he'd never hit you.
No, of course not. And that was, you know what? That was actually the worst part, because you would think that with his size and demeanor and shit like that he would be like, all right, let's go, and fucking jack me up against the wall.
Put the gloves on.
He was hurt. It hurt his feelings, which made it 20,000 times worse. You know what I mean? Because my dad walks in, he sees me talking shit about him, and it's like a betrayal of sorts. And that's the worst thing. You don't want to be betrayed.
So you went golfing for Father's Day, right?
I did. I went golfing for Father's Day, and then I went golfing again last week with my dad at Niagara
Was
Orleans.
that your gift to him? Just like hang out?
Yeah, because he paid, and he's been paying.
Oh, well, whatever. It's still. I don't hang out with my dad, and I'm pretty sure he has my number blocked.
Really?
I don't, because I tried calling him for. Watch this. I'll try to call my dad right now.
Alive? All right, let's hear it.
Yeah, and he's like, you never call. You didn't do anything for. Well, he doesn't say that. My mom relays me the message. This is my dad's phone number right here. I'm gonna call it. Watch.
When's the last time you talked to him?
I saw him last week.
Okay. It's ringing.
Please leave your message.
Oh, that might have been a fucking ignore.
No, that happens every single time. So there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do.
You got
I can't call him. I can't text him.
How old's your dad?
My dad was born in 1957.
So he's
almost 70. So he's 3 years away from being 70. So what is that?
You got to do what you got to mend that.
I know. I really do. I need a better relationship with my dad. I really do.
You got to mend that. Me and my dad had a little tiff a couple weeks ago about his birthday, and I went above and beyond to nip that in the bud because I love my dad to death, and these little things that we do when we go golfing and shit like that, it's so wholesome dad and son shit. Like, he's good at golf, I suck at golf, so he's like showing me what to do and like giving me tips in his little way
it probably
that he
makes
does.
him feel good
For sure. And I'm sure he would love it if I could pay for a round, but I got to get a new apartment now. So
how expensive is golf now?
At Niagara Orleans, we've been going to Niagara Orleans Country Club in Gasport. It's probably like 40 something with a
right
cart.
around what I
Yeah.
think,
I did bring the beers last time, which was at least a little something, but
4-pack.
But then I have to hear, oh, you shouldn't have to drink to play 9 holes. It's whatever, dude. But he had a couple too, so fuck him. I mean, it is what it is. Not fuck him. I didn't say that. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, it's like your dads. This is stupid to say, but like dads are fucking underrated. They really are. Like, moms always get all the fucking... You're a dad. I mean, you. This is very relevant to you. Like, moms get a lot of the praise and the credit, and rightfully so, because moms fucking rule too. But like, dads are fucking underrated, especially to a son, I think, because not to, you got your thing with your daughter, and I'm sure that's just as special.
I have Cameron too, so...
That's true. That's a good point. So there's something about that male like bonding thing, like with like sports shit and like, I don't know. There's just, you can't really replicate it. And I think that probably your dad would love it if you really took the extra steps to fucking figure that out.
They'll get shocked. Even Ashley, she'll get shocked if I'm like strict. I'll
right.
Be like, get in your room. And
I would be shocked too, because I've never seen you in that mode. I've never seen you in dad mode.
That's how I'm in dad mode.
That would be nuts to see.
Get your shit, pick it up, put it over there. Yeah, it's weird. I don't like doing it, but like I can see shades of my father coming out in me.
I'm sure.
But
they
need it. They need it.
They
so
do.
bad.
They do. You need a strong fucking fatherly presence, dude. It's like, you got to have that. It's so important. It was funny. Even might have to drop his picture in again, but I went to Schufeld's this past week. And he's got like 6 fucking kids running around, and he's like,
I was texting
he's
him
running shit.
Yeah, he's like a general manager,
right? Like his kids start fucking around with the sprinkler, and like he's like, nope, that's enough. That's enough of that. Grabs the it's like, dude, this is so funny
with kids. It's insane,
and it's so funny because I just always think about when I was a kid, and I would be at my house fucking around, and my dad had like friends over, or like my uncles over and shit, and like they were just sitting around drinking beers, and like they were the adults and like we're the kids fucking around. It's like so weird to be just this random guy that comes over and like like say hi to Cody, and I'm like, hey, what's up, little kids, like blah blah blah, like do you want Cody to come back and come swimming? It's like I'm just like this random old dude to them. Like they don't know anything about me. They just like see me and see an adult.
The roles are reversed,
and I'm just looking at them like wishing I was them, because like they have no idea
innocent.
The terror and horror that's on the way. But it was cool to see, dude. It's weird. It's weird having friends that are dads, because in my mind, like I'm so far removed from that, but it can happen like that, right? Like it could, it's not that hard.
Like I said, when I met Ashley, we were pregnant. She was pregnant a month later.
That's insane.
I know. And I told you the story earlier. I got a call when I was at work, and I was like, she's like, yeah, I'm pregnant. I'm like,
that's
what?
A bombshell for sure.
Yeah.
I
kind of was happy about it because I wanted a girl. I got a girl.
That's good.
But I want to have another, and I think that's what's going to happen. So
something to look out for. New kid dropping soon.
You'll be new selfie dropping tomorrow. New kid dropping in 10 months.
Oh, it's really cool, man. I mean, I got Ethan, I got you, I got Andy. It's like, it's cool seeing you guys like step up and do what's necessary. Like if any of you guys were like pieces of shit deadbeats, it would be really sad. But that hasn't happened yet, luckily, on any level. So it's nice knowing that, I don't know, like it's going to be, what's going to be really weird is when your guys' kids grow up to be like adult sized.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I always look at, I'm like, well, if she was born when I was 33, then I'll be 54 and she can come drink at the bar with me.
Yeah, dude.
Like
and you probably will
like
do that. And I see, what I always think about is like, you know, how long do I really want to wait? Because, you know, my thing is always like, in my head, if everything goes to plan, which nothing has so far, so I'm assuming this won't either, but like I would ideally probably plan for and want to have a kid maybe around 40, late 30s, right? But that's an old dad, like compared to my dad who was like 26 when he had me.
Wow. Really?
I'll be like, yeah,
he is still young.
Fucking 60 when they're 20, right? Which is like kind of nuts. But I don't know. We'll see how things go. Yeah. I got a long way to 40. A lot of shit could happen. So, I mean, anything's possible.
Yeah, my mom was like 19 when she had her first kid.
Yeah, same here. Weird. Same here. And that's so fucking young, dude. Imagine being 19.
Yeah.
And
or
like,
maybe she was 20. Somewhere
still
around.
Really young. You know what I mean?
When I was 20, I was just an idiot.
Absolutely.
I still am.
Absolutely. I still feel like a fucking idiot. And at 19, it was about 300 times worse.
I'm glad I waited to have a kid because at least I could figure out I was an idiot.
Yeah, you had some good life experience at that point built up. You'd been through some trials and tribulations. You have to go through trials and tribulations. Otherwise, you can't really forge any sort of...
Yeah, there's no way. Like, Ashley's mom was 16 when she had...
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And people just fucking... What's crazy about it is, like, almost any situation that comes up, you just kind of fucking figure it out, right? So it's like it usually works out in some level. Like, I'm sure when my mom was 19 and my dad was 22, they probably weren't ready to have Courtney, but it, like, they made it fucking work. And, like, that's almost what becomes so special about it. It's like we had, like, this struggle and, like, nothing was certain and we, like, didn't know where we would live. We didn't know what we would do for work, but, like, we made it fucking work.
It makes you work harder.
Well, for sure.
You can't fail at that point.
Exactly.
Like, you have to.
I can say even from my own experiences over the last few years, like, having nothing to... When you just only provide for yourself, there's a lot more risks you can take and do dumb shit and put yourself in really bad spots. If I had a kid through all those years, I mean, there's a lot of things I would have done a lot fucking differently. You know what I mean? Because you can't, not only do you have another person relying on you, but you have another person relying on you who's not able to function, not able to, they're relying on you on such a deep level that it's like, it gives you this intrinsic motivation to, you know what? I don't want to go to work, but fuck, I have to go to work.
You know what I'm saying? If my daughter comes up to me and she goes, "Daddy, juice," and we don't have any juice,
it's got to be done.
I will make it happen.
Right. I can't tell you how many times I've gone without juice in here. It's been a lot. It's been a lot, you know, because it's like
Cody juice.
Right. It's like the only person who's gonna not have juice is me. So I know that I can fucking tough
it out. You're not gonna be a baby.
Yeah, I'll make it fucking work somehow. But yeah, and I've almost on a certain level. I've had this conversation with Ethan a bunch of times too. It's like on a certain level, I've envied that to a degree because it's like, you know, it's such a huge blessing and such a awesome fucking thing, right? Like you got this person, it's like half you, half another person, and you're responsible for it. And it's like, so now you have a reason to live, a reason to function, a reason to stay upright, a reason to keep moving forward. And like sometimes you do lose that if you're just toiling away for your own survival or whatever, self-gratification.
Yeah, you know one thing about like kids, like dads, I see it all the time, and I don't have Facebook or Instagram anymore, but I'll see like a dad take like a selfie with a kid. Did we talk about this?
A little bit about kids being exploited and shit.
Yeah, and it just really, it's like, dude.
Well, you worry about.
Could you imagine if your dad like put out like a vanity shot of himself and you're in the background not knowing what's going on?
You know what's weird about that? Thank God we're good this time. You know what? I worry about that. I don't worry about it, but I think about that on some level because, you know, my dad is a pretty active Facebook guy because boomers love fucking Facebook. So, he's on there a lot and he posts a lot of shit. But I think that, I don't know, because we have a lot of like...
Well, your dad has like an aura. It's not like he's being he's just your dad.
I think that we would have had the privacy, but I mean, there might be an innocence to it too, where they might not necessarily, they might just be so happy and so proud, right? Like they might not be thinking like, well, if I put my kid in, I'll get more likes because it's my kid. They might be thinking like, I fucking love this kid so much that I just want to show the world. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, I will give them the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, I think you can. People. I mean, that's how I feel. Like, it's...
Dude, my mom kicked my dad off Facebook.
Really?
Yeah, because, dude, he would get drunk and post,
oh, no.
like, all caps. But, like, I don't know if he thought he was sending a message.
He may have.
But he'd post his, like, status, like, this Ozzy song rocks. Fuck you or something.
So he just didn't really know.
It was all caps, and my mom eventually told him to get off.
You got to get off.
Because any chick...
Good for her, man. Yeah. Good for her for, like, stepping in.
Yeah, like
instead of letting him fucking cringe out and just, like, embarrass himself. Yeah, that's what you hope for.
But he didn't know how to work it. It's not like he's ever...
No, it's not his fault. Like, that's the thing. Like, I mean, we love to Fools Watch, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that we've always done, even before the Red Bar days of 2020. We always we Fools Watch. We didn't know what to call it yet, but we did Fools Watch, and we always made fun of people who embarrass themselves and cringe out on a major level. And what you always hoped, or at least what I always hoped, was that if I ever did shit like that, that someone, whether it was a friend, family, or fucking anyone else, would fucking step in and say, dude, we're all fucking... You look like an ass. We're all fucking laughing at you. Yeah. You gotta fucking stop. Yeah. So good for her for fucking drawing the line in the sand, because that shows that
it was getting embarrassed. I was on too, and he'd comment on my stuff, and it like just ruined.
Right.
But it's not like it was.
You can't get mad at it. Yeah, I mean, it's like you don't even, and you give him a level of like forgiveness that you wouldn't give anybody else, because it's like he means well.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing, dude, because mixing electronics and social networks with like different generations, like we have different expectations of what people do on social media than our parents do. Like they think other shit is acceptable than we think is acceptable than the level below us thinks.
We're much more vague too.
Right.
Like my dad posted a status one time on Facebook. It said, "Check your oil, Mikey." But it was his status.
It was like meant for you.
Yeah, but it was
just a status update, right? So
and
he didn't.
I saw it like 2 days later. I was like, dude, what the?
So he didn't necessarily understand what was going on. Yeah, that's fucking hilarious. And you just see the stat, like you're not tagged in it.
No,
like it just
zero.
You just
likes. No, there's like one like, one thumbs up.
That's fucking hilarious. There's a certain misery and discomfort of like posting a status and getting nothing.
I'll delete it.
I haven't had that happen in a while, but what I did do was when we uploaded the podcast last week, I posted the podcast on Facebook, which I didn't really think was going to lead to anything, but I just figured like, well, I might as well just throw it up there because who fucking knows, right? Anything could happen.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of, I don't want to say I'm known for doing podcasts or anything, but there's been a repeated history of like sometimes doing a podcast.
You've been in the game longer than...
For sure. I've been rocking for a while. Yeah. So like I posted it and it just sat there on an island. It got nothing. The wind was blowing.
Our podcast?
Yeah, a fucking tumbleweed went by. Not a single. And it makes me wonder too. Like, of course, I'll try to make excuses for myself and rationalize. It's like, I bet like posting a YouTube video, like it probably doesn't show up in the feed. And
would you click on one?
No.
Yeah, me either.
So I get it. And that's the whole thing, right?
That's
it's like,
why we got a clickbait.
And another thing, I'm gonna have to pee soon. But another thing about it is like, what we have to understand, and what I never understood, that I never got, because I would always do podcasts and put them on my Facebook, put them on my Twitter, put them on my Instagram. The people that we know are not who this podcast is for.
Right.
They're not going to be for the moms that we know and the people we went to high school with and the people we worked with. Those aren't exactly the target fucking audience. The people that would listen to us are the people who are like actually like us and might enjoy our takes on certain things, and therefore they're people that we don't know yet. So the key is to like pushing it to Facebook really doesn't do anything, because those are all people that I know in real life and I know them for something else.
Fan. that we don't know. I want one
I know.
fan.
I don't know if I've ever had that.
Yeah, like a fan that's just like, hey, send me some merch.
I gotta piss
pee,
again.
Dude. Go pee. Go pee.
I'm gonna just see where we're at.
Yeah. Let me know the time, and I can give you 15 more minutes. I swear. Look at I'm texting on the podcast. Is that insane to you?
I mean, after I pee, we can wrap it up if you want. It's up to you.
Well, how long are we? I think we're doing a good. You can't tell. Well, if anybody made it this far, anyways, that's pretty funny. Dude, I left during the Alex Jones pod. I did not say anything about Alex Jones.
That was funny, though. That was a good bit.
Yeah, it was a great. You have to keep your bit up.
You gotta do something entertaining.
Dude, I'm gonna remake a Facebook, I think, and do the all caps message posts. How funny would that be?
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I'll just make a face. And it'll say like, "Hey Cody, had a fun time today," but it'll be the status.
Yes, and don't tag
Not a
me in
message.
it. Do not tag me in
Yeah,
it.
no,
Just put Cody.
No, I'll tag like Butler. I'll tag, but it won't be you. It'll just be like
Some other Butler.
Yeah, it'll say Cody A and then a tagged Butler.
That's funny. That's how it would go down too, because it wouldn't be able to tag correctly.
You know what'd be funny to do? Make people think, and this is, listen, my grandma had Alzheimer's.
Oh fuck.
But what if I just got back on social media and like was posting shit that was like, dude, Mike's
like has CTE.
yeah,
Like I think someone hit him in the head with a steel chair.
Undertaker. He
Like
never,
Mike has been doing diving headbutts off the top rope, dude, because he has fucking CTE. Holy shit.
that's my gimmick.
Did Mike play in the NFL? Because he's fucked up, dude. Holy fuck balls.
Yo, Mike put a post out about how he wants Jim Brady to be president. And I don't even know Jim Brady.
I don't even know who the fuck he's talking about, dude. He's losing it. It's all caps.
You can get in, I can get in that mode and keep going. And it's too real, and I hate it, because eventually I get nervous, like, is this me now?
Okay, so we
Like
got to
when you
talk
make
about
a
this.
face.
We're over an hour right now, but we'll wrap it up on this. But I found this when I relogged into Facebook, and you're kind of talking about that right now a little bit.
Yeah.
One of the funniest fucking things that we ever did was when we were at my practice space, and we posed in front of the Bills van and said, Bills Mafia, we're going all out this year.
Yeah.
Tailgating all day long, 24/7. We got the Bills Mafia van. We just purchased this bad boy. We put it on Facebook with that caption. There was no inkling of sarcasm. There was no inkling of joking. It looked
Doing
very
it big,
legit.
Buffalo.
Like, if you were like Jano or maybe like Bill or like, you probably would have seen that and been like, oh, those fucking idiots. But for all the normies and people who just are friends with us, think that we're genuine people, think that we don't fuck around, and we wouldn't want to put one over on them, so why would we do something like that? It just got so many likes and so many like comments.
I remember we were at Lock 34 that night.
Yeah, and people were asking us about it.
Yeah, like, yo,
You got that van, dude. That's sick. And I was just, I don't even remember how I reacted to that. I was just like,
You
oh,
ended
man.
up starting to tell the truth.
And I ended up hiding the post because I was like, this is getting out of control.
Yeah,
Like,
you got called
this
out.
is spiraling.
Well, we got called out.
But just...
Yo, that's my buddy Trevor's band.
Yeah, exactly. Like
something.
The lie. They did an investigation on us and
Yeah,
figured
it's,
it
like,
out.
it's not that big of a deal, guys.
No, it's like that has always been...
We're not driving it.
No, it's not our van. We didn't buy a
was a shitty
fucking
van
van. That logo looked awful. Like, we wouldn't do
It was
that.
painted barn red.
It was terrible. The logo was like kind of like askew. Like, it wasn't proportionally
I
right.
wouldn't buy that for $10.
No way. But I saw that post and I was like, man, this was really fucking
It's still
funny.
up, but you hit it.
Yeah, it's still up. You can still find it. Maybe I can throw it in just so you guys can see it. But it's just like that level of like prank. I remember doing it at the Grancelli's house. I remember taking pictures of you at the high school.
Joe's mansion.
And just like, yeah, I bought a house. Like, I grinded. It's like, and I don't know. That's a weird ass humor style that really a lot of people would not understand.
People get mad about it too.
Right, because it's like you're being deceptive. Yeah. But it's like, dude, you got to understand how fucking funny this is. Like, to me, That's not even remotely believable.
We like getting a rise out of people.
It's just so stupid, too. It's like,
dude, I got dapped up so many times that night. Like,
for the van?
Yeah, and it's like, what's the fucking big deal? I didn't think it was a big deal. People were coming up to me like, yo, saw that purchase. And I'm like, what purchase? They're like, oh, on Facebook. I'm like,
Oh, that's so funny. Well, my point was going to be actually because you were talking about running like a gimmick on Facebook and how it would carry. You really underestimate how shit really does spread. Like, you would think that, like, oh, I'm just posting it, like, well, a few people see it, whatever. But, like, no. Not only will people see it, but, like, people will talk about it. It'll slowly proliferate through the social circle. Like, shit spreads quick. So if you do something outlandish like that where you look like you have CTE, it's going to seem like a goofy little stunt, college-style prank, but it's going to be... There's going to be people, you know, talking through the grapevine like, yo, I think Mike's really fucked up. He's fucking posting all this crazy shit. And there's going to be people worried about you and shit. Like, it really is going to spread. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen multiple times.
I almost want to try, but I don't want, like, I'd have to let people in my family know that it's a
Right.
bit.
You don't want any genuine concern.
Right. But it'd be funny, like, to just think about someone being like, yo, like, Mike Kaminsky's been posted a picture of the bushes and said Happy Friday.
He's been doing some wild shit on there, dude. And then there would be like screenshots of it that like people are sending in their group chat.
Yeah.
Like they'd be fools watching you,
But
you'd be fools
Yeah.
posing on them.
It's that's kind of hard to pull off. But if you're
Very.
off social media for a while and you come back, you could convince.
100%.
Yeah. Like, Instagram would be tough to do.
That's what I mean, because these people aren't tuned in to your every move where they know that you would even fuck around on that level. So if you start doing something fucking wacky, they're just going to think you're fucking wacky.
Yeah. And you can marinate them.
Absolutely. You can fucking reel them in, you know?
Yeah. I like it.
So we'll see. Maybe we got a little prank cooking up. Maybe next week we'll
Mike
give you an update on that. But
shout out Big White.
to wrap up, I think, sorry for any depression vibes that were sent out.
Yeah. This was definitely a different vibe.
Yeah, it was a big transitional, life-altering event, and I'm still wrapping my mind around it now. Like, I finally forgot about it for about 40 minutes right there when we were talking, but
Taking a picture of you guys.
now I have to re-enter the reality of what's going on. So, yeah, I mean, thanks for tuning in. I think we got the video cooking this time. I think everything worked out. And I don't know, you got anything else you want to add in for the final countdown? Probably not, right?
I think I touched on everything.
Fair enough.
Hold on.
Nice.
Now I've touched on
A little
everything.
sight gag. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you did, like and subscribe.
Thanks for watching the show.
Obviously, of course, goes without saying, and we're going to keep bringing it to you. We're going to wrap up these final 4 or 5 weeks here at Spruce Street and send them out in style. And yeah, stay tuned. We'll be back with more.
As soon as we collect this off, we're going to be like, yo, why did you say that? Like, what
100%. The real podcast, the real juicy shit, is going to be the post show that no one hears.
Yeah, and we have a club you can subscribe to see the post.
Yeah, the exclusive VIP, $15 a month, and you'll get
Post-show.
all the official juicy nonsense.
And merch.
Yep.
We went to Sonny's last week. You'll get all that footage.
Yes. Oh, we didn't even talk about my eye.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
Now
long.
I feel like I already clocked out of work.
I know.
So we can't. But
Next
do it,
week.
do it.
No, next week. I don't want to.
Oh, it's a huge story. It's a cliffhanger.
Yeah, next week we'll explain what happened to my fucking eyeballs. I had to go to the emergency room. So it's a good story on the way. And we'll bring it to you next week. This is the Twin Towers Podcast. I'm codeezie. It's Mikey Blaze. Give him a little sign off.
Drink blue. It's healthy for you.
Drink blue, screw you. And we'll be back next week. Thank you.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye. Bye. See you guys.